Volvo has just revealed the EX30. Really interesting stuff here because yet another manufacturer is going down the road of saying, you know what, yep, lithium iron phosphate batteries are a good idea. Here are the variants that Volvo have. Here are the prices. Very interesting pricing strategy. I think it's worth us having a look at the pricing of the EX30. Should you consider buying one? I think it's going to be a very, very big seller if Volvo can make enough of these. Well, they're going to be doing some disrupting of their own of some of the big automakers. The EX30 is a very impressive car. Not sure about that pillar at the back though. Kind of makes it hard to see out of. Hello my friends, welcome to the channel. Great to see you, thank you for tuning in. My name is Sam Evans, I'm the Electric Viking. I hope you've had an amazing week. Just want to say a big thank you to all of you. I really, really appreciate your support and your all your donations that you've made to my wife's cancer fund, her GoFundMe. So thank you so much for doing that, and also for just supporting the channel this year. It's been an incredible year, and I mean, in some bad ways, but also in some really good ways, and you guys have been in the good ways. Speaking of other good ways, other good things that have happened, the Volvo EX30 has happened. It has 3 different battery packs. It's got a 51 kilowatt hour lithium iron phosphate battery in the cheapest version. Now that is how Volvo have been able to give the price, make the price quite low. In Europe, that model will cost 35,000 euros. So it's not exactly, super cheap, but it's a pretty nice car. It'll sell well at that price in Europe. There's no question, because Volvo is a well-known brand in Europe. It's well respected. People like the brand. They like the style. It's got a real, over the last 10 years, Volvo's style has been very much appreciated by a lot of people. And style does sell cars a lot. It's not the only thing, but it is a big part of the sales of a car. A lot of people tell you, I wouldn't buy that, I wouldn't buy this, I wouldn't buy that. And they often don't realize that one of the key reasons why they're saying those things is because they think the car looks ugly or they think it looks great. It does influence people's purchasing decisions. And this is a good looking car. So I think it'll sell well based on price and based on looks and based on brand. Volvo is also perceived to be a safe car brand. It is a safe car brand. They make safe cars. And it's also perceived to be a kind of a progressive electric car brand now. They're getting more, into selling EVs, plug-in hybrids. They're selling them pretty well. Now they're going to mass manufacture these, I think, and they're going to do a good job. So what does that mean? It means that it's a couple $1,000s less than the price of a Model 3. Yes, Model 3 is a significantly bigger car. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes because, of course, we'll have a new Model 3 within the next few months. That'll be an interesting competition there. That said, they are different shapes of cars. The Volvo EX30 is a much more desirable body style in Europe. In fact, not just in Europe, but through most of the world. That type of car, the small crossover, is the fastest growing car segment in the world. And, well, it's a good time for Volvo to release a car in this body shape. That said, this is Volvo's smallest SUV. But that does mean it offers kind of a city-friendly and affordable alternative to the XC40 Recharge and the C40 Recharge. So in the United States, the price will be 35,950 euros, which is very, very well priced. In Europe, it will be 36,000 euros. So it's a little bit more expensive in Europe than what it is in the United States. However, Volvo makes an interesting point here. They say, you know what, this pricing is basically the same as other vehicles that are gasoline powered, that are in the same kind of, mid-level premium vehicle segment. And they're right, it is. Volvo's CEO said this would happen. And I think he's saying as well, they're going to have even more affordable cars. He's saying by 2026, they can sell EVs across all their range that are on par with gasoline powered vehicles. He's saying that. I really got a lot of respect for the Volvo and Polestar CEOs because they're saying things that make a lot of sense. They're looking into the future. They're saying, you know what, we're here now, but we can get to there. In the US, the EX30 pre-order is $500 US. You can order one right now. It's refundable. First deliveries will happen in summer of 2024. Customers can configure their cars in the fall of 2023. Speaking of the size, the EX30 is 186.6 inches long or 4,233 millimeters, Means it's nearly half a meter shorter than a Tesla Model 3, but obviously it's a very practical body shape as well. It's worth keeping that in mind. It's 72.3 inches wide, that's 1,837 millimeters, and it's 61.2 inches high, which is 1,555 millimeters high. The wheelbase, it's 194.3 inches, or 2,650 millimeters. Volvo says the EX30's chassis has been tuned to make the most of the car's compact dimensions, its low center of gravity, and relatively low and evenly distributed weight. Its minimum curb weight is 1,830 kilos or 4,034 pounds, which is actually quite heavy. Means it's about the same weight as the lightest version of the Tesla Model Y. It's a much smaller car than a Tesla Model Y. Volvo's cars have been a bit heavier than some other electric cars. I'm not sure why that is, but that is the case with the EX30. Inside, it's got a very minimalist cabin. I think it looks really nice on the inside. It's one of the highlights of this car, the style on the inside and the style on the outside. The dashboard has a 12.3-inch single screen infotainment system. It's very similar to the screen that's in a lot of Ford vehicles right now, the way it's a portrait screen, different to the horizontal style in many other models of car. And it even has a sound bar that covers the entire upper portion of the dash underneath the windshield. That's a first of its kind in a car anywhere in the world. Some of the tech highlights in the car. Well, Volvo have worked with Google, they've worked with Android, they've worked with some technology partners to really try and improve the technology in their cars. Some of the highlights are a key compatible with a wide range of phone brands and models, a dedicated app offering all relevant services related to the car, charging, location, locking, unlocking, and heating, and the latest generation of the Park Pilot Assist feature. That's said to handle all types of parking spaces, including parallel parking, curved parking, perpendicular parking, and diagonal fishbone style parking. So it should help you to get in pretty much any parking spot as long as it can be driven into. When it comes to the interior design, you can choose between 4 distinct interior themes and 5 different ambient lighting themes, each paired with an ambient soundscape. So what about the driving? Well, the fast version of this car, the all-wheel drive version, will be the fastest car Volvo has ever made. It's actually very, very fast in the all-wheel drive version, that is. So if you buy that version, the twin motor version, however, the cheapest version in the United States is the single motor rear-wheel drive version. Now, rear-wheel drive cars are becoming more popular now. Volvo has said, no more front-wheel drive. Rear-wheel drive is better in electric cars. It is, that's true. There's a various range of reasons why that is. If you're new to the channel and you haven't seen my video explaining why rear-wheel drive is better than front-wheel drive in electric cars, I'll put a link in the description below. It's something that not a lot of people actually realize. However, car manufacturers themselves are making those claims. That rear-wheel drive motor has 288 horsepower or 200 kilowatt and 253 pound-feet of torque. That's 343 newton meters. It's plenty of power for a car this size. And it comes with an extended range battery with a usable capacity of 64 kilowatt hours. The battery has NMC chemistry, lithium, nickel, manganese, and cobalt, and enables the EX30 single motor extended range to offer 275 miles between charges. That's not the cheapest version of this car. The cheapest version, which won't be offered in the United States, is the lithium iron phosphate battery pack. That pack is a 49 kilowatt hour size battery and has an estimated range of 200 miles. However, that won't be offered in the US because I don't know why actually. Volvo haven't said why. If you step up to the all-wheel drive version, you get an insane amount of power and an insane amount of speed. It's pretty cool. It has a front electric motor, which when combined with that rear-wheel drive, that rear motor that we just talked about, it has 422 horsepower. That's 315 kilowatt and 543 newton meters of torque. That's quite a lot of power for a car this size. That's enough to enable the car to sprint from 0 to 60 miles an hour or 0 to nearly 100 kilometers an hour in 3.4 seconds. That makes the EX30 all-wheel drive version the fastest Volvo in history. It's a pretty amazing feat. Pretty insane that we can sit here and say, hey, look at this little unassuming small electric crossover, and then you realize that it's actually this basically supercar. I mean, it's not a supercar, but these sort of times, these sort of performance times, this is what supercars were doing, what, 5 years ago? About 5 years ago. Even some supercars now are not far off that time, pretty close to that. The dual motor model has a 64 kilowatt hour NMC battery, nickel, manganese and cobalt, and is estimated to offer a range of 265 miles. When it comes to charging, the NMC battery powered variants have DC charging peak power of 153 kilowatt, enabling a 10 to 80% charge in a little over 26.5 minutes, they say. The LFP battery version charges at 134 kilowatt, needing 26 minutes to complete the same cycle because it's a smaller battery pack, and AC charging is 11 kilowatt. Starting from 2024, the Volvo EX30 will be available as a cross-country adventure-focused variant, which will have more ground clearance. So if you want something that's, good at getting over a steep driveway or driving over curbs, it's definitely not an off-road car, I can tell you that now, then that's the option to get. Or actually could be good for snow as well. If you live in an area where there's a lot of snow, that'll be the best version to buy. So let's just run over those battery pack options again. Cheapest version in Europe and other countries like Australia has that LFP battery. It's a 49 kilowatt hour battery pack, 51 kilowatt hour size, but 49 kilowatt hour usable. And it has 344 kilometers of range, or just over 200 miles. Plus it comes with that 200 kilowatt motor with 343 Newton meters of torque. The single motor version with the bigger battery pack, which is available in the United States, has the same motor and a 69 kilowatt hour battery, which gives the car 480 kilometers of range. That's a pretty good range, I think. The dual motor variant has 315 kilowatt, so over 400 horsepower, 523 Newton meters of torque, comes with a 69 kilowatt hour battery pack, the same as the rear-wheel drive single motor version. And with that extra motor and that extra power, it reduces the range by not much, only 20 kilometers. So you're still getting 460 kilometers of range. Even the entry-level model is quite fast though. It'll do 0 to 62 miles an hour in 5.5 seconds. The performance model, 0 to 62 miles an hour in 3.4 seconds. And what is really the best news about all of this is a global car. So if you're watching this video, there's a pretty good chance Volvo will be selling this car in whatever country you're in. Now, is that the case in every country in the world? Absolutely not. But many countries. It will be coming to the US, Canada, the UK, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and a few other countries as well. Thank you for watching, my friends. Let me know what you think of the car in the comments. And as always, have an awesome day. Bye-bye.